Hi, I'm Tim Bray. I'm a developer advocate at Google. XML, oh, you know, when we created XML, that was at least 100 years ago. It seems like ancient history to me. XML is interesting because it was the first attempt to build a data format that was truly neutral, that was independent of operating system, programming language, database, independent of everything. Also independent of English, because we had Unicode in it. And it's amazing to believe that before XML came in 1998, there were no independent data formats. There just weren't any. So XML's major contribution is it proved that you can have independent data formats and that this is a useful thing. Now, of course, we have JSON, we have YAML, we have protocol buffers, we have lots of things, and they are specialized. They have advantages for different applications. But I'm very happy that we live in a period in which data is expected to be independent of the platform. Well, so XML was initially very fashionable, and it was used in some very stupid places as a consequence. In particular, you know, as configuration files for Java EE and in the horrible SOAP format and all that stuff. XML is still very popular in publishing applications, where you are handling data that is really in the shape of a document, and it needs to have hyperlinks and nesting structures and so on. On the other hand, for simple data-oriented data interchange, JSON is much more lightweight and much more convenient. I defined a cloud API 2 years ago when I was working at Sun, and it's 100% JSON because it was just, you know, arrays and hash tables and lists and so on. So JSON was fine for that. So right now, you know, between XML and JSON, we seem to have pretty good coverage of most applications. I think that for publishing-oriented applications, you know, including web feeds and social media and things like that, XML will be there for the future. I hope that the use of XML in Java configuration files goes away because it's really gross. That's wonderful. You know, the trouble is that Google needs to be able to talk to developers, and so we have to have some people whose job it is to talk to developers. But even more important, we have to listen to developers, because if we are building something like Android or Chrome or, you know, App Engine, the success of those platforms are 100% dependent on developers building brilliant things on them. And so we need to know what parts of the platform are working well, which are not working well, where do we need to invest work, where do we need to stop working. And the only way we're going to do that is by listening, you know, coming to events like this, going to meetings, having blogs, being on Twitter, being on Google+. And that's our part of our job, and that's actually the fun part of our job. You know, I get to meet so many interesting people. I'm proud of developers everywhere in the world. I haven't been to Mexico since 1992. You know, I haven't been here for 19 years. So unfortunately, I'm not really well acquainted with the developer community here. But I hope that after today, I will be much better acquainted. Everybody I know who is trying to hire developers is having difficulty everywhere in the world. So I'm not sure that, you know, anywhere in the world we have enough developers. I think in Japan, you know, in terms of countries that are well supplied with developers, Japan's pretty strong, China's pretty strong, Northern Europe's pretty strong, Southern Europe's a little weak, you know, Italy, Spain, those countries. I was in Brazil and Argentina, and I have to say, in both places, I was quite impressed with the developers I met. I can't speak about the Mexican developers because, you know, I just arrived here recently. I don't think we have enough developers anywhere. Be brave. I mean, right now, there are a lot of opportunities. Right now, there are a lot of people who have money that they want to invest in startups. So if you have a good idea, go build it, you know. Particularly if you're young and you don't have, you know, 4 kids to support. It's a really great time to go and start a company, and maybe you'll be poor and overworked for a couple of years, but you will learn a lot of beautiful lessons, and maybe you make a lot of money, and probably you have a lot of fun. So my most important advice for developers is courage. So the next most important advice is to become involved in open source. The best way to develop connections with the developer communities around the world and to learn the realities of high quality software engineering is to become involved in one of the big open source projects. There are a lot of them. Maybe start your own, maybe get involved, but that is really the world leading software developer community is the open source community, and people should get involved.